Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to the next movie review for Halloween month. And now I'll finally be reviewing Beetlejuice 2, or Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. Well, I'm probably one of the handful of people that probably dislike this film. I know this film got praised. A lot of people like it. Probably I know that I'm in the minority. That's even a handful of people that don't like this movie. So, yeah, but like I say, I don't like this film. To me, it sucked. Now, there are exceptions, of course. There has been sequels that has come out decades afterward. I said this before, There are
exceptions,
Like, take for this year, Beverly Hills Cop 4, Axel F. That's 30 years after number 3. And guess what? I really enjoyed it. I thought Eddie Murphy did a good job. I thought he kept, his Axel Foley persona in the movie, There's a lot of things I enjoyed about it. So yeah, Beverly Hills Cop 4, it'll be one of my favorite films of this year. I really enjoyed it. That was a film that came out 30 years after when the last film was. The third, Bad Boys film, Bad Boys for Life, that came out in 2020. That was 17 years, okay, after the second film. I enjoyed that. That one surprised me. The fourth film that came out this year of Bad Boys, no. To me, that one sucked. But I'm talking about the separation of how many years I'm talking about. The third film, I enjoyed that movie of Bad Boys for Life. So there are exceptions. But a lot of times, sometimes when the sequels come out decades later, have sucked. Like this one, Beetlejuice 2. To me, I didn't think hardly there was except for one joke. What was so funny about this movie? Because I didn't find a single joke except for one that was worth a laugh to shit about. Worth a laugh, worth a shit, So I don't get what was so funny about this. Tim Burton comes back to direct. Michael and the main cast comes back. Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice. Winona Ryder comes back as Lydia. Catherine O'Hara comes back as her stepmom, because I forgot to mention when I reviewed the first one, it was her stepmom, Catherine O'Hara. She comes back. But then you got some new characters in this. So, but I'll get to that though. And the film got praise, has a 77% of Rotten Tomatoes, which is a bit lower than the first one. The first film had 83% of Rotten Tomatoes. But I don't get the praise for this film though. I don't. I just don't. But the thing is though, it proves me wrong because the film made a shitload of money over in the U.S. and worldwide. It made over close to 250 million or so in the U.S. on a budget of 100 million, and worldwide it made over 400 million, which is more than triple or quadruple of what the first film made. Made about 70 to 80 million worldwide back when it came out in 88. This is more than quadrupled it. So, obviously, it proved me wrong on the money front. But, to me, I just think that this film sucked. I mean, Tim Burton, like I said, I enjoy a lot of his movies, I like the first Beetlejuice. That's a classic. I like Ed Wood. I love Sleepy Hollow. I love Batman. Batman Returns. I forgot to mention that in my previous review of Beetlejuice. I enjoyed Batman Returns. That's a sequel I enjoy as well. I forgot to mention that. Edward Scissorhands. Big Fish, like I said, I could barely remember. Oh yeah, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That's one I reviewed, but I forgot about. That sucked. Dark Shadows, another one I forgot to mention. That also sucked. I didn't like Alice in Wonderland. I did not. So, but Frankenweenie was harmless to me. I think that's like the last good one he did, though. But as for the truly good last one, the good one I think he did was probably Sleepy Hollow. Sweeney Todd, not big on it though. But Dumbo. But Tim Burton, I mean, like he needed a big hit so badly, which he got. He got his big hit. Now with this sequel, which I think back then they wanted to do this when Beetlejuice was in Hawaii or something. I don't know. But when they went with this, though, okay, where to start? Okay, so it's like 40 years, basically, after the first film. Okay, right off the bat, Winona Ryder, she has PTSD after the first film. Which I did say at the end of my review of the last one. Why does she have PTSD? I have no idea why. Because she has PTSD about Beetlejuice, but the thing is, though, she was perfectly fine dancing in floating in midair, dancing in midair to ghost football players to, jump a light, shake, you know. She was perfectly fine. She didn't seem that traumatized. So why now she has PTSD of Beetlejuice? I have no idea why. And even by the end of the movie, spoiler, by the end of the movie she still has nightmares about Beetlejuice. So, nothing has changed. I guess she'll always forever have PTSD and nightmares about Beetlejuice, so from beginning to end. So by the end of the movie, nothing changes for her. Nothing. But why the whole PTSD in the first place, I have no idea why. Because she didn't seem like she was that traumatized in the first movie, like I said, with the ending. So, because she has this dickhead boyfriend played by Justin Theroux, I think his name is. Because she works on this TV show, he works with her. He's a dickhead, but she does not know until the end of the movie. She has a daughter played by Jenna Ortega. I'm tired of seeing her. I did not like her in the Scream movies. I don't. The only thing she was good at was when she played Wednesday. She played Wednesday, the Addams Family TV show. Wednesday. That was the only thing I think she was good at. I did not like her in the Scream movies. I did not like her in this movie here. She was just basically like a kid. She's a brat. That's what he is. She's a brat. Because this her dad, her husband is dead, and the funny thing is, she, how Winona Ryder sees ghosts, right? But Jenna Ortega is well, she's kind of lecturing. It's like, if you see ghosts, then why don't you see Dad and all that? Or he keeps referencing, that her grandpa, Jeffrey Jones's character, he's the only semi-normal one in the family. Now, of course, first I'm like, semi-normal, because you think you're. I already explained to you how he is in real life. Jeffrey Jones. Okay, he's a piece of shit. Okay, he likes little kids. And the funny thing is, of course, one thing is though, I did not, when I was a kid, I did not know who he was back then, though. I didn't. But by this time and point, everybody knows what he's done now, probably. Unless you're living under a rock, though. But at this point, right now in time, people know what he's done. I like the fact he still probably got paid for this movie because, oh yeah, he didn't physically appear in the movie, but you have like someone who looks like him, right? And also the character is his character is still in the movie, and it keeps getting referenced every 5 minutes, which I thought was annoying now. Because his character is in the movie because of course you saw in the first trailer the funeral. That was his funeral, which I assumed that was him because I knew it was him. Because they probably wouldn't ask him back because of what he is, though. But they still put his character in the movie, and someone who looks like him, right? But the thing is, like, the fact that they still put him because if he put his character in the movie, of course Jeffrey Jones will still have to get paid for it, The fact that he got paid for this, jeez, criminy, But the thing is, his character's dead because he got a plane crash. Then his head got bitten off by a shark. So when you see his character, his head is gone, including with the U-shaped bite. His head is gone, including all the way up to here because the bite mark from the shark, right? So when he tries to speak, blood is bubbling up from the gap of the gash, from the shark bite. I'm like, and they show this guy his pictures in the funeral. And I think it's ironic. I don't know if they did this intentionally or not though, because they sing that song Dio, which I forgot to mention they sang that song in the first movie. If little kids sing sing it on a choir to Dio, I'm like, did they intentionally do that because do they knew that Jeffrey Jones was a pedophile? I don't know. I don't think that was not. I don't think that was not intentional though. But I'm like, isn't that kind of wrong? I give a picture of Jeffrey Jones, his fat ass now, and give kids singing at his funeral. I'm like, are you doing this intentionally? Because because he I don't know. Well, I don't know. Praise, just him. Just Jeffrey Jones can fuck off now. With his be with his other pedo buck buddy, director Victor Selva. Christ, man. And the fact that he gets referenced so many times in this, it's annoying now. See him, But anyway. I have him out of the way. So, like I said, Winona Ryder has PTSD. She has a dickhead boyfriend. Catherine O'Hara, she was more annoying in this movie than the last one, though. I didn't care for her character in the last movie, though. But here she was more annoying. And she also has a guy, too. A boyfriend, I think, so. It brings up, it's not probably ever brought up again, because he falls in a sewer. And that's hardly ever brought up. I'm like, why is this here? And also the fact that they try to put 3 stories into one movie, because you have Winona Ryder with her daughter, and you have Beetlejuice trying to marry Winona Ryder, and you have the new characters, which was like a former girlfriend of Beetlejuice, played by Monica Bellucci, Italian actress Monica Bellucci, who I remember from this very underrated action film called Shoot 'Em Up with Clive Owen. I like Shoot 'Em Up. I think that's a very underrated action film. I thought and of course the very insane scene where Monica Bellucci and Clive Owen, they're together, Clive Owen's holding her naked while still doing it, while Clive Owen is shooting bad guys, spinning around shooting bad guys while they're still doing it naked, standing up. Shoot 'Em Up is crazy, but I think it's fun too, and I think it's all underrated. And also you have a fun performance from the bad guy played by Paul Giamatti. Yeah, Paul Giamatti, he was fun of that as well. So, but Monica Bellucci, she's pretty, and okay, it's nice to see her in this, but the thing is though, I don't think her character did not need to be in this movie though. Because I said her goal is to get revenge on Beetlejuice, and she's a soul sucker. She sucks souls out. And other characters, I don't think that it didn't need to be in the movie either. I mean, you have another character, this actor who's also a cop, played by Willem Dafoe. Um, Willem Dafoe is a good actor, but I felt like his character didn't need to be in the movie at all. But he's a cop, he's an actor. I'm like, where's the joke in that? So, what else? Well, of course, the one thing leads to another. That there's some stuff that still plays out from the first movie, like Beetlejuice. He still wants to marry Winona Ryder, or you have two people getting sucked into a model, just like in the first movie with Alec and Gina, right? Here it's Winona Ryder and her boyfriend. And now with Beetlejuice, this time he's working like an accountant. Oh, and the guy with the shrunken head named Bob. His name is Bob. And there's like 10 other ones of him now. And this whole thing with the waiting room, you get a whole lot with the waiting room, right? And a lot of this jokes, I didn't think it was funny at all. I don't. And then with the Jenna Ortega has this boy, as like likes this boy, but it turns out he's a ghost, and he wants to return to normal, so he kind of makes a deal, and ultimately leads to when Winona Ryder but Beetlejuice gets summoned, and of course he has the line when he saw in the trailer, the juice is loose, which I'm sorry that was a shitty joke because O.J. Simpson is not here no more. Sorry. So the juice is not loose. The juice is dead, literally. Well, pun intended, pun intended. The juice is dead. Okay? He's not loose, he's dead. But like I say, he still wants to marry Winona Ryder. I still don't know why he still wants to marry her, But he's obviously in this big rush to do it, though. Oh, and more in the Afterlife. The joke is, there is this train for the border of the Afterlife. And it's a Soul Train. You get it? Soul Train from the 70s when these old 70s clothes and music playing, You get it? Soul Train. And of course there is a scene where the Bee Gees' Tragedy is playing. Tragedy! And you don't know why it's tragedy! The songs were better. The soundtrack were better in the first movie. I mean, yeah, I like the song by the Bee Gees, though, but just the soundtrack was better in the first movie, okay? And then let's see what else. I'm still trying to remember because It's been a month since I saw this, and it's leaving my brain. What the thing is, though, I guarantee you, it's like with all things that are popular at the time when they come out, and then like within the next few or so years, people already tend to forget about it because, hey, it's like in the heat of the moment, people are so praising it so much in the moment, and then sometime later, like, oh, it was really the great, like Avatar, the first Avatar that came back years ago, right? Oh, it was like the best thing ever, and now up until this time frame before the sequel came out, people just forgot about Avatar. That's the thing. All the hype dies down after a few years. It's like, oh, eh. I guarantee that'll be the same thing with the sequel. People will still watch the first film because it's a classic still. I still would, but with this one, I'm sure people will forget about it within the next few years. So, what else? I mean, there are certain things that doesn't copy the first one. I mean, they do still have things like, okay, you still get the sandworms, right? Okay, we saw that in the first movie, okay? There's things we saw for the first movie that the first film had creativity. Yeah, in this film you still get some practical effects, which I do appreciate though, but there's things that you've already seen that was in the first movie that you already saw, I like to see some more different things. Instead of just, oh yeah, of course, there's nostalgia stuff, like they throw in, which I could make that argument because the fourth Beverly Hills Cop 4 had nostalgic and moments to it, right? Which I can relate to, okay? Because you have the nice moments with Eddie Murphy with Taggart and then Rosewood, and some of the nostalgia that they played off in that movie, which okay, yeah, I remember that, That's nostalgia I can relate to because, it was fun, but here nostalgia stuff. Oh, and by the way, I'm sorry. Okay, sometimes nostalgia works, but most of them it doesn't because nowadays that's what they do when they do sequels years later. They have to play with the nostalgia so much, they have to beat it so hard until it's blue in the face. But I was want to mention, and with Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis, I guess you could say, I guess, of course, how they're much older now, right? So, because it's been like 40 years. So you say, Ghost Stone Age, right? But I do think a positive thing I can say about it that they got their happy ending because they say they kind of like. They do kind of get referenced, though, because I guess they finally crossed over, So, okay, so there's nothing. So, those characters, they got their happy ending. They're together. They crossed over, So, it wasn't all bad. At least they got their happy ending, right? But of course, that's why they're not in this movie, but at least they got their happy ending. No happy ending for Jeffrey Jones. Well, it's not him, though, but still, it's his character, though. The fact that we still keep seeing his character, it's getting annoying and it's pissing me off now. Because this is the point now I'm getting pissed off. I gave leniency on Jeffrey Jones the first movie because back then, we did not know who he was. Up until this point in this, right? Because now, at this point, now we know who he is, and now it pisses me off just to see his character now. So the fact that because he's a sicko pedo, sicko pedo. It just annoys and pisses me off more to see him in this now. And there's a point now where Catherine O'Hara dies, and she's now in the afterlife in the waiting room again. The waiting room, and up until a point to the end where she finally gets with her husband, with no head though. They board the Soul Train. And then the whole thing is like with Monica Bellucci. We do get the backstory of Beetlejuice, back when he was alive before he died. It was like a long time ago, and what was the reason again? Because it ultimately led to Monica Bellucci trying to poison Beetlejuice, and which it was a slow poison though, so Beetlejuice managed to kill her, chop her to pieces before he dies from the before he finally dies from the poison, very slowly though. And I guess they're in Italy because Monica Bellucci is probably because she's Italian. That's why. Speaking Italian, and I guess when you're a ghost, you speak different languages now. I guess you didn't know that. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention why Monica Bellucci was in this because she's dating Tim Burton. That's why. Because back then, I think he was when he was with Holland Bottom Carter, he would cast her in a few of his movies. Like, oh, that's right, Planet of the Apes. I forgot about Planet of the Apes. How bad that movie is. I see. Why I forget to mention these bad Tim Burton movies like Dark Shadows and Charlie the Chocolate Factory and Planet of the Apes because that's how forgettable they are. That's why I forgot to mention my review of the first Beetlejuice because that's how forgettable they are. But yeah, the Holland Bottom Carter, yeah, Planet of the Apes, Sweeney Todd, I think, and yeah, Alice in Wonderland. I think even Big Fish 2 as well. I think. Because I guess the time she was going with Tim Burton, so he cast his girlfriends. And here now she's dating with Monica Bellucci. Yeah, of course he cast her, So yeah, but Tim Burton, I think it was dumb on his part to keep referencing Jeffrey Jones, knowing that who he is, and he still gets a paycheck for it. Sorry, Tim Burton, that was stupid on your part, You can just in dialogue, just say his name, and that's it, You You had to keep doing it to bring this character in the movie. You know, you could just say his name in dialogue and that was it. And then also with the boy that was with Jenna Ortega. I do like I said that with the one joke that I did find funny is when he tried to, you know, make a deal and try to get himself back to normal, but no, he gets basically double crossed and he falls in the hole and Michael Keaton goes and says, "Later, fucker." See how the way he says it just made me laugh. You know, it's like when he said in the first movie. You know, it was like when he kicked the tree over. He's like, "Nice fucking model." I got a genuine laugh at that. So here he goes says, "Later, fucker." That made me laugh. That's the only joke in this movie that I got to laugh at. And so, but with Jenna Ortega, every time she's on screen, she's acting all bratty as what she is. What else? And then... and him wanting to marry Winona Ryder still. And then when they're running together, Michael Keaton stops for a moment. Why he's so such a rush to marry her? Why is he stopping? Or because, like in the first movie, they stopped and tried to scare him, like with Alec Baldwin and Jane Davis. They tried to scare the family, which I also didn't mention is that they didn't want to hurt them. They want to scare them in a friendly manner. That's why I tried doing the singing, dancing to the Dio, right? But they didn't want to harm them. They wanted to just do it friendly, right? But it didn't work out, though. That's what, because they were the center of the movie. Like I said, Michael Keaton, he only had like 15 minutes of screen time in that movie. At least Michael Keaton, I think he was in just a bit more than the first movie. Big deal, though. And I mean, Michael Keaton, he does have moments when he was good as Beetlejuice in this movie. Yes, he did have his moments. Yes. And also another cast member, Danny DeVito, of course, once again working with Tim Burton from Batman Returns and 2019's Dumbo. He's in here as a ghost, as a janitor. That's all he's in there for, and nothing comes of him. He's just there because he worked with Tim Burton before. At this point, I was just getting annoyed and getting pissed, and I was like getting bored because, well, other than the little fucker joke that Michael Keaton says to the young boy, nothing was funny in this movie. I didn't. I'm like, where's the laughs for all the parts except for one, like I said. And then one thing leading to another towards the end, where the asshole boyfriend of Winona Ryder and Monica Bellucci ended up getting swallowed by the sandworm, just kind of almost like in the reference of the first movie as well. So, after all that, then things have gone back to, well, not got back to normal still though, but that's why, I guess, like, Catherine O'Hara got with her husband, they ride the Soul Train. But the film has lacked creativity, you know, because it came out in this time, because where creativity and stuff like that are very rare nowadays. The first film had creativity and a lot of great special makeup effects. It did. A good score, soundtrack. Tim Burton did a better job directing the first movie than he did with this movie. And the music by Danny Elfman I enjoyed from the first movie, the score. Here, not so much. It's almost like repeated the score of the first movie, you know. So. Oh, and by the way, the shrunken head guy named Bob, he dies as well. I forgot to mention that. He dies. But then also there's like 10 of them, though. 10 of them more that look exactly like him. So Beetlejuice 2, it sucked. It would be in my top 5 worst of this year. It would. Listen, Michael Keaton has his moments, but I think he didn't do that bad of a job in this movie compared to the first movie. The first movie, he did a wonderful job in the first movie. He had energy and charisma when he did in the first Beetlejuice film. I didn't feel that in this movie. I didn't. And he didn't do any of those creative things like he did with the couple at the end of the movie with the whole whack with a hammer and they both flying through the ceiling, right? He didn't do any like becoming creative stuff like that though. He didn't either. So, and even after all is done, Winona Ryder, she still has nightmares and PTSD about Beetlejuice. I'm like, so basically nothing has changed. Basically, nothing has changed at all. Oh, and there's we want to see something different. There's a baby like of Beetlejuice, and it farts multiple times. I'm like, really? You have a baby version of Beetlejuice and it farts. That's why I give the first movie a thumbs up in the thumbnail, at least, and this one a thumbs down, because this is just a big letdown disappointment. Or the fact that it was just indeed a sequel that didn't need to be made. But I digress because I enjoy the fourth Beverly Hills Cop film, and I'm glad that film was made, so guess I'm not the one to talk, But like I said, the cast, Michael Keaton, overall, he still did fine. Winona Ryder, still basically the same like in the first movie, except for other than the PTSD, which didn't make any sense at all. Jenna Ortega, she was annoying and bratty. Catherine O'Hara, she was also annoying as well. Acting the same way from the first movie. What else? I like Willem Dafoe, Monica Bellucci. I think they're all wasted of space in this movie. They're good actors and actresses. They were just wasted not to be in this movie. They should not be. Their parts in the movie should not have been cut out of the movie. So, and it's just like the jokes were not funny at all. The score, for the soundtrack, let's say you have "Tragedy" by Bee Gees, and the score by Danny Elfman was almost like the same beat as the first movie, almost. From what I was hearing. Tim Burton, well, he got his big hit, so he can continue making more movies now. But yeah, to me, this film sucked. It wasn't funny at all. It sucked, and this film can kiss my ass. I would just go rather watch Beverly Hills Cop 4 Axel F. I'd rather watch that instead. If I watch a sequel that comes out decades later, I'd rather watch Beverly Hills Cop 4. And I get a laugh and some good decent action stuff coming out of it. So yes, that's my review. So that's my review for Beetlejuice 2. Like I said, thumbs up. That was for the first movie. Thumbs down for the thumbnail of this movie. Now, the film sucked. It did. Like I said, I don't get the praise for it. If people like this film, that's fine. I don't hold anybody against who can like a movie that I don't like. That's why I always say we have opinions. They're called opinions for a reason. Different subjects, different matter. So if people will like this film, that's fine. If I'm in the one with a few people that don't like this movie, cool. I'm not here to change anybody's opinions. Okay, I don't. I'm here to make out my own opinion for it. So yeah, so that's my review for Beetlejuice 2. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more for the final review for Halloween month, which I want to end on a good note. So stay tuned for the final review for Halloween month, and it's going to be a really good one. It's another anniversary review as well. So stay tuned for that, and we'll see you on the next video. Later.